Hello everyone, Jacques from Dapper Shaves. In a previous video I've done, and I'll put a link in the description, I went through my razor rotation bag, which is this one. I've got a couple of other razors in a second bag, and I've got a couple of new ones I want to show you guys and introduce you to, and also do a bit of an inspection of my razors. It's something you need to keep your hand on and keep the maintenance on them well. So I have changed out, you guys will see this bag in the previous video. I'm just gonna put it here, it's a working area. So new in this bag, which you haven't seen, is this. This is a Philharmonica 14 Sub-Zero square point. These razors have got a reputation for being very, very good shavers, and this one's absolutely no different. Quite on the expensive side, but if you can find them, they're well worth the money if straight razors is your passion. So this bag, I've shown you guys everything. That was the only one that came in. So I'm gonna close this and move this away, and then move to the smaller bag I have, just to give you guys an idea of the dimension. Let's use this as a working area. There we go. So what you will have noticed in my razor collection is I tend to have 6/8 straight razors and larger. That's just my preference. I like them, and they're also more collectible, at least for me. Having said that, this is a Dorco, a Barbers Pride. This is a razor that was my long-term razor. It's now gone into rotation. I used this razor pretty much for over 130 shaves between honing, just by stropping on suede. The Barbers Pride, what I like about the Barbers Pride is, and it's got a, if you pull your fingers across here, you will actually feel the belly. Now if I talk about the belly, and hopefully I can get the light right, you would see there's a grinding ridge running down there. That's the belly. If you look at the edge, there's a thickening in there. Now I'll show you with the new blade I've got where that's a whole lot more pronounced. But as I say, if you pull your fingers across the blade like this, you'll feel that belly. You'll feel the concave, the belly, and then you get down to the edge. Now what I've come to learn over time is razors that's got a pronounced belly has got a lot more edge stability behind the edge, and they tend to shave tougher, coarser, denser beards better than the thinner grinds. So that's something I've picked up. I'm not sure if you guys have got the same experience, and it would be nice if you can maybe leave your comment, a comment in the description. So this is a fantastic razor. This is a 5/8. It's got the fox tortoise shells, a white true wedge in there, and a really great razor. So I've said I like big blades. That was a 5/8. So let me shock you and let's step one down even more. So this is fundamentally a brand new Dovo from the 1940s. It was made by Fritz Bracht in the takeover when he was taking over the Dovo company. It says on the blade there in German, "Für den strakken Bart," which translate to for the strongest beard. And when you go and have a look at the razor and the belly, you will also feel it's got quite a bit of a pronounced belly. Very nice shaver. It's a Dovo 55, and as I said, made by Fritz Bracht. This, by the way, has got a French point. This razor was in the bag. It's the Boker. It's the razor that came out the bag to make space for the Philharmonica. But fundamentally, it's a Boker from the early 1900s, 1920s. It's a king cutter, a hollow grind, very good razor. It's a razor I acquired a couple of months ago, so very nice to have them. Up next, this is a King Pelican, Japanese razor. This is a 25. The blade had a bit of rust and problems on, so the edge unfortunately has taken a bit of a beating, but this is a very good razor. Beautiful red wedge in there with these translucent scales with a striping in there. Lovely razor, shaves well. This one also has got quite a bit of a belly on it that helps shaving, at least for me. I've got a bit of a sniffle, so excuse this. This is a razor, American razor. It's a Tory. A JR Tory. I always wanted an American razor in my collection, and the short story of a long thing is this razor they did not want to ship out of the US. Customs wanted to send it for destruction, so the friend of mine that was doing the logistics asked them to return it to the seller in the US, and then we used a different channel to ship it into South Africa. So the American razor, it's got the army engraving on the edge there. Was a long one to get hold of. This is the only American vintage straight razor I've got in my collection, and it actually shaves quite well. Once again, apologies for the sniffles. It's very cold today. It's raining. I'm sitting out on the patio. Weather is strange. In any case, moving on from weather, I've got a love for Humber Greens. It's one of the razors that got my attention with regards to hollow grind and also the bellies they have. This one's got a beautiful engraving and edge on here. I hope you guys can see this clearly. The lighting outside's not great, so it makes it difficult. Rubber wood scales, brass pinning, and it's got also internal washers, something I do on my restored razors where I can. This razor for a very long time at the #1 shaving position in my rotation. No surprise, it's Humber Green. This razor is made from silver steel and set in giraffe bone scales, quite chunky ones, making this razor quite heavy. That also helps with the shaving efficiency, and it's got the brass hardware and washers in there. A very nice razor. This is a 6/8. This one's been in my rotation for close to 5 years now. and it will never go out of my rotation. It's moved out of my main bag, but that's just to mix up my razors a bit. Up next is also acquisition of addition to my razor collection. I'll remember to put a link down here. I previously owned a SK1, not this. That was for a customer, and then I was fortunate to obtain this. So the SK1s, this is as close as NOS as you're going to get to it. It's got no wear on. It took a lovely edge. Nice scales. I also did a shave with this initially when I owned the first one. And I've in the meantime shaved with this one twice. And my fear of these smiling blades are gone. These are actually very good shavers to shave with. And the main reason for that is the heel and the toe is always pointing away from where you're working. So it makes it very easy and comfortable to use, especially in tight, difficult areas. A 6/8, this is a ERN, this is a Crown and Sword copy, not copy, branded. You will see this razor has got some rust forming on the pivot, and that was because of bad maintenance. So evidence of that, if I turn this razor around, you might see some water stains on the blade face that wasn't there previously. So obviously this razor was stored with a bit of moisture on it, not properly cleaned, and I will have to now go and correct that. The interesting thing about this razor, I call it my butterscotch razor. It's not butterscotch, but what happened was you'll see black, brown. So this razor, I would assume, sat very long in a window in a shop where it got direct sunlight. If you look on the inside, there's a slight light coloring in there. So the scales was initially black like this, but over time, the sun turned this plastic into this, what I call butterscotch handle. So that's when the plastic over time and UV changes. Can you see that ridge there? That's not dirt. That's where the inside plastic also turned this brown color from sunlight exposure. So this razor I'm going to put down there because I need to go and work on this when we're done. I'm going to leave this bag open. I talked a lot about bellies, and I said I have got a razor. This is new to me, kurat. I've always known about kurat, was never in the position to acquire one, and it's very fortunate to have this in my collection now. So, let me show you an extreme example of a belly. Let's just put this out the way. So this is the kurat. It's based on a Philharmonica 14. So maybe just let's rip that 14 out. So this, the Sub-Zero with a square point. There you go. There's the Sub-Zero with a square point. And there we have the kurat. I'm going to do this. You will see the filly's got a slightly longer blade length. I've seen that all the 14 fillies are like that, and I actually quite like that a bit. But blade width exactly the same, fundamentally the same shape and layout, just done differently. So where this razor is fundamentally just extra hollow grind, it is got absolutely very little belly in it. This razor, if I turn it that way, you'll see that. Let's do this. Can you see that diamond there? That is the belly. So concave, it's got that belly that looks like a diamond, and then it comes down to the edge. And in hindsight, I think I'm gonna do this whole video over. I'll see how it comes out. And maybe start with a kurat. 14 translucent plastic scales. The craftsmanship on this razor is unreal. Ulrich Bayer is the maker. He's in Austria. His razors, he makes them from Solingen blanks with his own proprietary treat, and then grinds the razors. He's got various configuration options you want. His craftsmanship and skill is absolutely unreal. I'm very critical when looking at razors. I can't find fault in this razor. I've looked, I've tried to find areas. His work's just unreal. If you want an exceptional razor, go to Kurat. Have a look, they've got a configurator. You can fundamentally build your own razor within the scope that's defined there. And they are exceptional. For me, this is the benchmark in straight razors. It's exceptional. There's the filly, which is also highly regarded, but to be honest, there's only one king, and that's the kurat. So quickly move them out of the way. The last razor I want to show you is also new to the collection, and no collection would be fully complete if you haven't got a traditional Japanese straight razor. They use the word kamasuri, but kamasuri is the Japanese word for razor, so it's any razor. If you walk into a store there and you ask for kamasuri, they might point you to the Gillette disposable razor behind the glass. So that's a traditional Japanese straight razor. This one, very fortunate to have obtained. This is a Iwasaki. Not made by Iwasaki-san himself, but I can't remember who the gentleman is who owns the stamp in the forge. Excellent bladesmith. This is a 60 millimeter. They are very rare. Me personally, the smaller 50 millimeter traditional blade width on a kamasuri, I find you need a whole lot more focus on. I've got a tendency of nicking and cutting myself with a 50 mil a lot easier, especially with the heel. I had the opportunity to shave a 60 millimeter, and it was such a nice experience that I decided to get myself one. Once again, the craftsmanship and the detail on these razors is unreal. The toe has got a little 45-degree grind off there, so that the toe hasn't got bite, but it's sharp right to that edge. It would have been nice if the heel had the same characteristic, but it's not a problem because it's longer. You can see where the edge is on your face. Also got a bit of a longer handle, and a very good shaver, one I enjoy using a lot. So they come in a box like this. and it can easily move around. I typically build custom boxes for my razors to keep the edges free floating. I haven't had opportunity to do it with this one, but I've in the meantime found a solution to keep the edge from contact. These are stickable magnetic pads you get, and you get them in different strengths, stickiness, just sticking to the gloves. So what I do is I just lay it down in the bed like this, and then even if you shake this, it sticks to the magnet and the edge doesn't get in contact with the wood. So that's how I currently store my iwasaki, and I shave with this actually quite regularly. This and the kurat's getting a lot of love, and hence one of the reasons I need to do some maintenance on my razors. Don't think I'm gonna add anything into this video. Thank you for taking your time in exploring my razor collection. I hope you enjoy that. Please ask your questions in the comments below, and I'll try and answer them as best as I can.